Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Osama. I'm a community pharmacist based in the north of England. So one of the things that come with having retinitis pigmentosa, or RP for short, is the need for fairly frequent hospital visits to a specialist eye hospital. In this case it's Moorfields Eye Hospital in London. So you might be asking, why don't I go to a closer hospital rather than all the way in London, which is hundreds of miles away from where I live in Doncaster? Well, there is a closer hospital in Sheffield. Sheffield does have quite a good ophthalmology department, but I just feel that because retinitis pigmentosa is such a specialised condition, I feel that my needs are better served by seeing specialist people who are based at Moorfields Eye Hospital. Not to put down the hospitals in Sheffield, but I just feel that with Moorfields you have a historic place that is specialised in the eye care. So I've made a video of my most recent appointment that I went to on the 11th of March 2021. So I hope you do enjoy it. You just have to forgive the quality of the video at the beginning because it's not so great, but it does get better as the video goes on. So hope to see you soon, but in the meantime, enjoy this video. So the time is 6:50 and I'm in Doncaster station, ready for this journey to London. Didn't have a good night's sleep, but you know, that's just how it is. So I've done this run quite a few times, to be honest, and it's quite a strange thing sort of going to the train station quite early in the morning, but it also has quite a soothing quality. You know, there's nobody about, you sort of got the station to yourself. It's quite a peaceful and quite a tranquil sort of journey, or beginning of the journey, to be honest. The fact that there's nobody really about is quite representative of the current situation, and almost acts as a metaphor for the current times, in that there is just nobody about, and that you have all these places that are usually crowded and they're just empty. So since losing my driving license 11 years ago, I've got quite used to the fact that I have to rely on public transport quite a lot. So sort of catching the train, it's no big deal. It's nice just to be able to come to places like a station early in the morning and just sort of take stock of things, take stock of your life, you know, have some time to reflect upon life, current events, things like that. It almost has like a meditative quality to it. I know that sounds cheesy, but that's how it does feel sometimes, especially in these early mornings when there's nobody really about. Here I am, sitting in the waiting room, and again it's just really strange but nice just to have this peace and quiet. Yeah, it feels kind of strange travelling in these pandemic times, especially when you're at a train station and there's hardly anyone about. It's a very strange sensation, but you know, I'm sure other people have experienced this as well. So I'm just waiting for the train now. It's going to turn up any minute. It's really bad weather over here in Doncaster at the moment, so it's a bit of a metaphor for the current times that we live in. I'm finally grateful to get out of the cold and the wind and get into a nice cosy carriage as we glide along the tracks all the way down to London.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. My name is Barry.
When things go according to plan, the journey down to London, especially in these early mornings, is really quite a peaceful and serene one. It's quite soothing, to be honest with you. You know, you've got 90 minutes to sit down and chill out and just think about things. As you can see, I have one of these new shiny Azuma train carriages all to myself, as there's hardly anyone else on the train at this point. So to make the journey a little bit more enjoyable, I put on my Apple AirPods and listened to Assassin's Creed Origins theme tune by someone called Sarah Schachner. I do believe it's an absolutely fantastic soundtrack, and I really enjoyed listening to it on the journey down. So it's surprising just how quick the journey is. It's a direct train from Doncaster to London King's Cross, only stops at a few stations, so by the time you've got yourself settled down, relaxed, listen to some music, you're halfway there, to be honest with you. So there are some fairly reliable landmarks that I use to see how close I am to London. This being one of them. We're just pulling up to the Arsenal football ground stadium, and when you sort of reach this point, you're within touching distance of King's Cross. So this is my cue to get myself ready, get my bag and prepare to depart the train. So I finally made it to London King's Cross. It's about 9:30 now, and I'm relieved that we made it, because there's always a worry that there's train delays and stuff like that. So I'm glad we made it, and the weather's a lot better down here than it is up north. So one of the things that really strike me when I go down to London, especially during these pandemic times, is just how solemn and sort of serious the atmosphere is down in London. It's usually quite a sort of bustling place, but during the pandemic times it's just completely changed. It just feels so strange and devoid of life. It's a very surreal atmosphere. So I've been coming to London for about 20 years, on and off now, every year, and I still can't get over how quiet it is during these times. I mean, I came here on a few occasions last year, and it was eerily quiet, and it's still the same now. It's really quiet, nobody about, really strange. This is around 10 a.m. Wednesday morning, and usually the underground would be bustling, and as you can quite clearly see, there's hardly anyone about. Thankfully, Moorfields is only 2 tube stops away from King's Cross, so it's no big deal getting there. So Moorfields is at Old Street Station, and when you get off the train, you're greeted by this green line, and this green line is actually quite a clever invention, as it leads you towards the hospital. The idea behind this green line is that people who are visually impaired can find the direction to the hospital quite easily, and I must say it's quite a good idea, although looking by this, it needs repainting. When you exit the station, it literally is just a 5-minute walk to Moorfields, so it really is quite easy. It's quite a pleasant walk, to be honest. So it's now around 12:30, and I've finished my appointment at the hospital. We've got a good outcome, not much change in the eyes from last time, so really quite chuffed with that. So just going to head to King's Cross now, and going to grab some lunch, and then hopefully get the train back to Doncaster. Yeah, just to give you an idea, this place is normally absolutely packed, but as you can see, this is King's Cross Underground, and we're midday, Thursday morning, or Thursday afternoon should I say, and it's empty. It's absolutely crazy. I'm absolutely starving now. I'm going to grab some lunch and then get the train back to Doncaster. I got these really nice sandwiches from Waitrose, and I have to say they went down a real treat. I was so hungry. This is a view from the upper level of King's Cross. When you look at all the people standing 2 meters apart with masks on, it just looks so strange. It's like something out of a science fiction film. It's really a sight to behold, especially when I've seen King's Cross thronging with people before. It's a weird sort of sight, and you know, it's quite humbling, really. You know, it's strange times. Finally on the train to Doncaster. It's been a long day. I'm glad to be getting home. It was a relief to finally get on the train and get back home to Doncaster. After having gotten up at 5:30 in the morning, I was more or less falling asleep on the train. It was really tiring doing all this sort of travelling, but it was worth it. So despite quite a few train cancellations in the morning at King's Cross, we finally managed to get on this train and we get back to Doncaster at about 3:30 that afternoon. So it's now 3:40 and we finally made it back home in Doncaster. So that's right now, just on the bus home. It should only be about 15 minutes away. It's been a long day, glad to be back. So it's now 4:30 or so, and I've just this minute got back home into Doncaster in my house. So it just goes to show it's been a long day. Got up at 5:30, went down to Moorfields, went down to London, managed that okay, and then came back. So it's a long day, but I think it's worth it. If you look at this map, it just goes to show how long the journey is and how far the journey is. It's not an insignificant trip, but having said that, for the sake of a 90-minute train journey, I do feel that it's time well spent. I get to see some of the world's best specialists who know how to deal with conditions such as retinitis pigmentosa, so for that I'm very grateful, and I'm also very grateful that we get services like this on the NHS. So I do hope that you enjoyed this video that I've made detailing my journey to Moorfields. Sorry it's turned out to be a bit longer than what I anticipated, but I feel it was only through this way that I could get everything across what I wanted to say. So anyway, hope you enjoy, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you very much. Goodbye for now.